Hello, Faye. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good afternoon from the future. We're coming to you from the future here in New
Yes.
Zealand.
So, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you.
It's a real pleasure, Nizam. Always good to connect about, with coaches from different parts of the world, but committed to the same mission.
Yeah, thank you.
But living out their mission in different corners of the world.
Yes. So, hi, friends. We have Faye here. Let me tell you a bit more about her. She's known as New Zealand's trusted. Please underline that she is known as New Zealand's trusted internal conflict resolution expert and coach for burnout professionals. Her method brings back life's ease and excitement for the professional who has had it burned out by harnessing the magic of the subconscious mind and nervous system to banish chronic stress, anxiety, and fatigue. Faye was born into chaos and strife in the Middle East, burned out 3 times in a row, which we'll find out more about it, and battle with chronic conditions most of her life. But when the traditional solutions of prescription, medication, and all therapy failed her, she sought out her own. After 15 years of research and training, she founded the tiredness solution and integrative 9-step formula that's helped her clients and students kick the tiredness and overwhelm and finally feel like themselves again by dispelling the internal conflicts rooted in the nervous system and subconscious mind. And now her mission is to help burnout professionals find well-being as well, because she firmly believes that when we are all living the life we want, we can build a kinder, happier world. Faye is proud to call New Zealand home, where she lives with her husband. She's a global citizen who has lived in 13 countries, speaks 4 languages, and is passionate about all aspects of health and well-being. When she's not coaching and training, Faye enjoys cooking, yoga, and loves spending time in the beautiful outdoors in New Zealand. So that's about her. So once again, Faye, it's wonderful to have you here. How did you get into this coaching?
Well, Nizam, it's not an uncommon story. I mean, when I was 12, 13, or 14, and I was at school and like dreaming of what I would be in the future, I certainly never, ever, ever dreamt of being an internal conflict resolution expert or a coach. I didn't even know what that was.
Yes.
But like most of us who end up doing this type of work, it was a direct result of certain life challenges and certain life experiences where I was seeking out solutions that weren't readily available to me. Just to make a long story short, after my first burnout, when the doctors only had talk therapy and prescription medication to offer me, I knew right away that this wasn't the path that I was looking for, because I was looking for a solution that was natural, had no side effects, that was quick, that was easy, that actually works and is actually good for me, right? Yeah. And not costly. And definitely the prescription medication was not on the table. It was something that I turned down right away. And the talk therapy, because I thought, well, I think we can all benefit from understanding what are some of the psychological factors and emotional limitations that are leading us to these problematic chronic conditions. And so I went to 2 sessions of talk therapy, and I left after the second one, because after each session, I would leave the therapist's office actually more depressed and more down than when I entered it, because there I was talking about how bad my life was, and no solutions were offered to me, and there was no concrete, tangible way to come out of the blockage and to come out of that stuck place. And so I decided I'm not going to go back to that, because that's just not working for me. But the thing is, Nizam, okay, I knew what I wanted. I knew this wasn't working for me, but I did not know how to get there. I didn't know. I had no program to offer to follow. I had no system. I had no one telling me what to do. I had, no guide, no mentor, no support, no coach, nothing. So I was left to figure it out for myself. And it was very much, a trial and error thing that started 15 years ago. And I like to think of this journey kind of as an inquiry. Because 15 years ago, when I set out on this inquiry, it was to find solutions to help me with my chronic conditions. And the chronic conditions I was suffering from at the time were depression, PTSD, anxiety, pain, and insomnia. So, quite common conditions nowadays that all stem from an overactive and out of control stress response. But of course, I didn't know that back then, right? So I sought out to discover, well, what does it take to recover from these chronic stress conditions in a way that, as I said, was natural, easy, not costly, effective, has no side effects, and actually works for me. And it was very much trial and error. So I would read one thing, I would learn one thing, I would apply it and observe for a while how it played out in my life. And eventually, and I did a lot of training and I did a lot of study and I did a lot of certifications. Actually, I have 3 times the amount of this like sitting in my drawers. So I'm a real lifelong learner and I love to learn and I love to study. So it was, it was a series of studying, learning, applying what I learned to myself, observing what worked and what didn't. And eventually, after I was where I wanted to be, I coded everything that worked. I took everything that worked on my journey and coded it into a system, into a program, into a method that has 9 steps in it that takes you from burnout, depression, anxiety to a place of ease and wellness and calm and happiness and confidence, because those are the internal positive states that are lacking when you are in burnout and in chronic stress conditions. You can't access the confidence, the happiness, the calm, the energy, the motivation that you're seeking. And so this system basically takes you from these chronic stress conditions, from feeling depressed, anxious, burnt out, chronic pain, chronic insomnia, to feeling how you want to feel again and feeling like yourself again. And this is all done in a very, very short period of time in a way that is natural, easy, no side effects, not costly, and effective, and is good for you and works and is long lasting.
Also quick.
Quick, yeah, absolutely. You see, because the thing is, because you're not sitting and talking about the problem over and over and over and over again, and because you're working with the root cause of the issue at the level of the subconscious and at the level of the nervous system, this is basically where these issues are created and stored. They're created and stored at the level of the subconscious and the nervous system. When you deal at that level, then these issues quickly subside. And this is actually one of the reasons, Nizam, why traditional talk therapy and psychotherapy are not effective in quickly shifting people out of these chronic stress conditions, because it just involves talking in the conscious mind. And the problem is not created in the conscious mind. And the problem is not stored in the conscious mind. It's stored much deeper. And so you need to go deeper in order to resolve the issue at the level at which it is created and stored. So, yeah.
That's how your system evolved. Would you call it as the tiredness solution?
So the system is called the tiredness solution, yes, but the formula, the proprietary system, is called the tiredness solution. And it basically is a solution for tiredness, or if you're tired of being anxious, or you're tired of being depressed, or you're tired of being in pain, or you're tired of not being able to sleep, or you're tired of self-doubt, or you're tired of people pleasing, or you're tired of not being where you want to be. that's a system, a step-by-step system, a complete system that is yours to follow in 9 simple steps.
Amazing. And you have specifically chosen to help busy professionals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What inspired you to work with this category of people?
Well, because that was me, Nizam, that was me. You know, I had a a really successful career in education and training. And, I had lots going on. And, it was, the burnout happened not just because of the career, it happened, because the burnout is never about your job, eh? It's never about your job. It's never about your to-do list. It's never about the juggling act. It's never about the traffic. It's never about any of these things. It's about the stuff underneath the surface that isn't resolved, that then gets triggered in these, busy, toxic, maybe work environments. In my case, I was working in a toxic work environment. So in my observation, so yes, I mean, I was a busy professional. I had a lot going on. An educated person, so I had a need to know and a need to understand, and I think that's quite important. Like when you're dealing with people who are well educated and they have access to a lot of information, and they have access to a lot of knowledge, and they have a lot going on. You kind of the approach needs to be tailored to that, right? And I guess it's because I observed firsthand that there were no viable solutions, at least for the busy professional that I was at the start of my journey 15 years ago. And that's what I've observed throughout, like now, that's who I work with, busy professionals, who want it done quickly, who don't want to sit and, talk about it over and over and over again, and who actually know a lot. And they have access to a lot of information, but they value their time, and so they want the solution quickly. They want to invest in someone with expertise in order to quickly get them to where they want to be and where they need to be, so that they can get on with their life and get on with the things that they're good at and they want to be good at.
Awesome. So, busy professionals means already that it could be a lawyer, it could be a doctor, it could be IT professional, anyone. And I keep listening. So sorry, my therapist has asked me to read this volume of book. My therapist has asked me to spend 1, 2 hours or 3 hours to do this introspection, this work, that work. I don't have time. So how do you how does this system helps a busy professional already who is busy and not having time and experiencing burnout? So what is the uniqueness of your program, Faye?
So the uniqueness of it is, that, as I said, it works at the level at which these issues are created and stored. So it's quick, right? But also, it offers a lot of accountability and support, because Nizam, I mean, as a coach, really, what creates the transformation in our clients isn't the knowledge, but it's the application and the doing, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
And when you set up a system and a container where people get a lot of support, the integration happens faster. And so other than, you asked what makes us unique, other than the fact that it's working at root level and root cause, you're getting a lot of support with the doing, so that the success happens quicker and faster. And the other thing is that this program is 100% actually outcome-based and solution-focused. So what I mean by that is, we get very clear right away. I mean, that's the first thing that we talk about and we focus on is, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? What do you want instead? And, a lot of times people, when I ask this to clients, I find it actually quite challenging initially to answer that question, because they're so associated with the problem, they haven't really considered and associated with a desired outcome instead. So once we get clear on the desired outcome, then everything that we do is based on moving them to the desired outcome. And there's, you know, a lot of accountability in order to help with the integration. The integration piece is key, absolutely key, as you would know, as a coach.
And thank you for clarifying that. And also, the nature of work doesn't change, boss doesn't change, colleagues doesn't change. Then what is the uniqueness of taking help to reach out experts like you? How does it help? They are experiencing burnout, so nothing changes outside. So what happens when they go through and seek help like professionals like you?
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to talk about, and that's one of the actually earliest things that you know I help my clients with is assuming responsibility for change. Actually, that is one of the key pillars in the tiredness solution, assuming responsibility for change. Because Nizam, you and I know that the only person who can make a change is us, right? Because it is not, you know, my calmness, my happiness, my energy levels, my motivation, my confidence is not the responsibility of my boss. It's not the responsibility of my husband. It's not the responsibility of my parents. It's not the responsibility of my children. It's not the responsibility of my in-laws. It's not the responsibility of my politicians. It is my responsibility. And as you work on and towards assuming responsibility for that change, the change happens, makes a way to happen for you, so that yes, you know, your colleague will remain annoying, and your mother-in-law may remain demanding, and your job may remain challenging, and your boss may remain unreasonable. However, your response to it is different, because you have assumed, you have taken responsibility for yourself, your responses, your behavior, your actions, and your thoughts and your emotions and your beliefs. And the thing is, I know this is quite challenging. You know, initially, if you've been outsourcing your happiness to other people around you, it's quite challenging, quite confronting to accept that you need to assume responsibility in order for the change to happen. But seriously, I mean, you know this, you know, nothing can change until the change starts within you. However, once you assume responsibility for change, you also have ownership of the result. So that when the result happens, no one can ever take it away from you. You know, clients always, you know, they come to me and they're like, oh my God, Faye, thank you so much. You changed my life. Da, da, da. I say, no, I didn't do anything. Like, of course, it's very heartwarming and I celebrate in their success and in their wins, but I did not do anything. It's you, it is your intention, it is your commitment, it is your mind that delivered for you. It has nothing to do with me. And then once you accept that, then no one can ever take it away from you, ever, 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 ever. And so that is a big part. That is a big part of the work, actually, Nizam, is assuming responsibility for change. And also, you know, I only work with clients by application only, because the system isn't for everyone. You know, it's not for everyone. This may not be the right time for you. You know. And so one of the I actually screen, you know, quite well, because the system works 100% of the time when you're ready and if it's the right time in your life. And so I want to make sure that you know, that the fit is there for the work. So one of the questions that I ask in the application process is, who's responsible for the change in your life? And the thing is, you know, that question is very telling for me. And if I get a response of anything less than 100%, I won't even bother. Because you are 100% responsible for the change in your life, because if you're not 100% responsible, who is then?
Yes.
Who is?
Lovely. Okay. So, Faye, you also have a trauma release protocol. So
Yes.
please share more details about it. What is it all about?
Yes. So Nizam, behind all these chronic conditions is emotional overwhelm and emotional toxicity, right? And base or trauma. And trauma is not only rape, kidnapping, abuse, or neglect. I mean, yes, that is trauma, but trauma is also a breakup that you haven't gotten over. It's being bullied at school. It's being ghosted. It's being yelled at. I mean, it can look like so many things. It could be like a car accident. Basically, trauma is it's not about the event that happened. It's about what happens inside yourself, particularly inside your body, when an event happens that overwhelms you emotionally. So I like to define trauma as an event that was sudden, dramatic, intense, unexpected, that creates an internal emotional response that overwhelms you. And on some level, there's a feeling like you can't cope or you don't have the internal resources to cope with it. When that happens internally, that creates a trauma, and that memory, that experience remains alive in the body, in the system, because it hasn't been dealt with, it hasn't been cleaned up, it hasn't been processed, it hasn't been integrated. And this is why then, you know, it shows up in a yucky feeling in the body, or chronic pain, or anxiety, or fibromyalgia, or inability to sleep, or infertility, or inability to have an orgasm, or irregular periods. I mean, it's a myriad of things that it can show up as. And the work of releasing the trauma is to take the event from the body and the nervous system and store it in the brain and the hypothalamus, where basically memories are stored that aren't triggering. And the way to do that is to take the wisdom from the experience and to integrate the emotions and to process the emotions. And the way to do that, you have to do that using the power of the subconscious mind, using nervous system regulation, and using somatic practices, which is all about the body. Because when a trauma happens, you have this yucky feeling. It feels yucky in the body, and that yucky feeling remains. So you have to remove that yucky feeling from the body. When you remove the yucky feeling from the body, the trauma goes, and there's room for a different feeling inside the body. And this is why actually when you do trauma release, very quickly, if you're suffering from chronic pain or chronic insomnia or whatever, you know, those, or anxiety or depression or chronic fatigue, immediately those issues resolve, because those are body issues and the trauma gets stuck in the body. So you need to work on a somatic level, as well. And in the trauma release protocol that I do, it's actually had 100% success rate. I always offer money back. Yeah, I offer a money back guarantee on my work. And the thing is, in all the time that I've been doing this, I have never had to issue a money back, because, why would I? I mentioned to you earlier, I screen for my clients very, very, very diligently. So if I feel that you're ready to do the work, you do the work, and I've got the system that works. Why would it not work for you? And why would I need to? I've never, ever had to issue a refund. And yeah, and this is usually done, like the longest that this takes is usually about 3 months, but never more, never, ever more.
Wow, that's a high success rate.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. Like it's so gratifying for me to witness that in the clients that I work with and that I support. They come in not just feeling a certain way, but you can actually see it in their face and in their body language and in their complexion and in their eyes. And by the end, it's just so different. Really, it's like a new person looking at you. And of course it would be, because you're freeing up the energy from the body. So now the body and energetically everything can work in the way that it was intended to. So that's pretty powerful stuff, actually.
And you also offer something called a guide to subconscious. So could you please tell
Yes.
me about that program as well?
Yes, Nizam. So part of the my 9-step system for the tiredness solution is to develop rapport with the subconscious mind, right? Because the subconscious mind is a part of our mind that basically runs our life. It runs our body, it runs our emotions, it runs our thoughts, it runs the outcomes. It basically runs everything for us. And the thing is, most of us don't know anything about it. We don't know how it works, and we don't know how to speak to it. We don't know how to be in relationship with it so that that mind can support us and deliver for us, right? And so a big part of the work that I do with my clients actually is empowering them and educating them about the subconscious mind so that they can develop a relationship with it, and that the subconscious mind can support them in their life and in their desired outcomes. So this is like a 2.5 hour training that I do online, and this is it's a group program where I teach you about the subconscious mind, how it works, what is its job, how to speak to it. I give you a recording in order to access the subconscious mind, and there's also some excellent handouts and a Facebook group. So it's super powerful stuff.
Amazing. You have, because of your 15 years of research and multiple trainings, you came up with these amazing tools, which are result oriented, quick, easy, and effective, and awesome. You're doing amazing job, Faye.
Well, Nizam, I mean, it's such, I feel so honored that I can do work that I believe in and do for others what I needed someone to do for me 15 years ago, and I feel personally invested in all the clients that I work with, because I know firsthand what it's like. And I know firsthand what I would have needed back then, that I wasn't able to get. And for me, it's a real privilege to be able to have turned that around, and now be happy and healthy and have purpose in my life, and contribute to the wellness and the well-being of others, because I believe that as we all heal and we all, improve, our own well-being, that has a positive spread out effect into the world around us. Because when you're in a better place inside yourself, you're a better parent, you're a better partner, you're a better friend, you're a better boss, you're a better citizen, right? And the only way, like seriously, I mean, the only way to make the world a better place is through, is really one person at a time. I think it was Gandhi who said that. Because certainly governments don't improve the world around us. Wars don't, sanctions don't, it's people. And so, this is, it's very, 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 it's a real privilege for me to do this work.
Awesome. And firmness that with which you spoke, and how you said that, how it is transforming lives very quickly from where a person is to where he or she wants to be. That is awesome, Faye. So thank you very much. It was wonderful talking to you.
It's such a pleasure, Nizam.
And friends, whoever is watching this interview, I'll be providing all the required links and contact details of Faye. So who is in need of training or personal sessions, they can reach out to Faye. So all the contact details will be made available. Thank you very much, Faye.
Super. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.